Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you guys this sleeve that someone sent to me. There are different types of this sleeve, this layered sleeve. So I'm going to be showing you guys one particular one of making the tiny layered one. I'm sure you guys must have seen it on the thumbnail, but they have it in a short sleeve version and they have it in a long sleeve version. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to make different types of layered sleeve, but this one is the very small layered one that has several layers. So I'm going to show you guys how you're going to do that. So this is one of the methods of making this one. So guys, the first thing you're going to do is, let's say you've cut out your sleeve, right? And then what you're going to do is, this is my sleeve here. Remember guys, I'm making it in a miniature version. This is not really any size of sleeve, but it's just to explain to you guys, because many people have sent me videos on like different tops where the body of the top is just a basic top, but I feel like maybe it's the sleeve that is confusing to them. Remember, this sleeve can come in a short, in an off-shoulder form. It can come in like joining to the shoulder. So let me show you guys what you're going to do. First, you're going to mark like 2 inches away from the edge. You see my basic sleeve here. I'm going to mark like, let's say 2 inches or 4 inches away from the edge here, or any amount you want. This is just to get the slash, right? So that we can get it to be a flay sleeve. And then you're going to mark another one here, almost getting to the top, and then the other one is here. So basically I split my sleeve into 1, 2, and then the center one. So the next thing you're going to do, if you don't want to do 3 slashes, you can just do 1 in the center and then 1 at the very end. So the next thing you're going to do is just to take it this way, cut this first line to the very end, but just enough to have something to hold it. And then you're going to cut the next layer. The same method, you're going to leave just enough to hold it. Guys, this is a very simple tutorial. You guys will be surprised at how easy this is. So once you finish that, you're going to layer it on your cloth. But guys, remember, this particular method is going to require a lot of fabric. It's going to require a lot of fabric. So I'm going to show you guys this one method of making this shorter one, and then I'm going to show you guys another way in a separate video on how to save your fabric doing a different method. So this one here, you're going to lay this down like this, and as you can see, my fabric, it depends on how many layers you're going to be making this sleeve to be. So I've seen ones with multiple layers. So but this here, if I were to do this, I would do it only on a short sleeve, right? So that way it will not take me a lot of fabric. But you see, I have 4 layers here. So you're going to have 4 layers where the longest length of your sleeve is what will be the length for all of them, right? The longest flay is what will be the length for all of them. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to split it and maybe have about 2 inches in between all the pleats. And then once you finish that, you're going to mark it this way. So try to have maybe 2 inches or 1.5 in between. And remember, like I said, you can also slash the center one. Just know that the more you slash, the more flay you have, right? You can also slash the center one. The more you slash, the more flay you would have. You can do 1 inch in between, 1.5 in between, or 2 inches in between. After that, I'm going to mark out the top part of this here. So guys, after that, now you pin it down and then you mark out the top parts just to maintain the shape of the part where it's going to be fixed to your sleeve, right? You draw that out, right? Guys, you just mark this out. And then the next thing you have to do is to connect this bottom part here. But don't forget your seam allowance, right? So you're going to connect this lower part here. Give it a curve at this bottom part, and then blend it back into this line. So guys, this is basically it. So all I have to do now is just to cut this part here out, and then you'll see the next thing I'm going to do. So let me cut it as you guys are watching me now. So I'm going to cut from here. It depends on you guys. Remember, like I said, don't forget the seam allowance that you might be needing for this. So once you cut this out now, you cut the bottom. I'm not trying to make it perfect, but I'm just trying to make sure you guys understand like my point. So I'm going to cut this side too, and then cut this top part here, following the shape of the top of your sleeve, right? Following that shape, try to maintain it, and then you're going to cut it out again. And then after that, I'm also going to chip off this side too. So guys, now that I've done this whole thing, I'm going to remove it. But before I remove it, I'm going to notch the center so I know where my half, the tip of my shoulder is. Remember, this is half part of the sleeve, right? This is the center line, 3 on this side, 3 on this side. So this is the center of the sleeve, right? So once you do that, the next thing you have to do now is, with each layer, you're going to chip off something. So it depends on you what you want to do now. So let's say I decide to use my ruler now and go back in here. So at this point, I'm done with this pattern paper. You can go ahead now and just maybe take away 1.5 each layer. So like the first layer, I take away 1.5. And then just like that, mark 1.5 from the edge, and then take that out. You cut it out. So you cut off this. You see, you've shortened this first layer now. This is 1 layer shortened, but it depends on how you calculated yours, right? But remember, this sleeve here, it's gathered a lot and it has like multiple layers. So it depends on how much difference you want to have in between each of them. So now that I've done that for this layer, I'm going to remove but before you do that, remove one so that one can maintain the length, right? So this is my first layer now, right? And then it has the full length. This is going to be my second layer, right? So depending on what you took out from this one, 1.5, so that means my third layer, I'm going to take away 3 inches from that, if that makes sense, you see. So like, I'm going to take away ×2 of that from this one. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that again. So 3 inches is what I'm going to take away, so that this one will be on top of this one, right? So just go ahead again, mark 3 inches all the way like that on this next layer. And then you can go ahead, mark it this way, mark it this way, mark it this way, all the way to the end. And then you're going to come back up here on this side, mark the same thing, and then you can connect it this way. Guys, remember, like I said, I'm not trying to make it perfect, but I'm just trying to show you guys what it would look like. And then I'm going to cut this part out, right? Once I cut it out, this is out. This is now the next layer up here. So like I said, the first one we took away 1.5, we took away 1.5 from this first one because this is the original width of the sleeve. The second one, we took away 1.5 from it. The third one, we took away 3 inches from it. So now this other one, we're going to plus another 1.5 to this 3 inches. So now on this one, we are going to take away 4.5, right? So we are going up in the step of 1.5, depending on what you started with. If I started with 2 inches away from the main line, so this next one, like I took away 2 inches on the second layer. The third layer, I'm going to take away 4 inches. The next layer, I'm going to take away 6 inches. The next one, I'm going to take away 8 inches. Just like that, you're going to keep on going up until you get to the top of your sleeve, depending on how many layers you have. So guys, now that I've said that, there's also another method of cutting this particular layered one. The same thing, you're going to go ahead, cut your sleeve. You're going to, the way you slash this sleeve now, you slash this sleeve. So guys, I hope you guys understood this one. So once you finish cutting all these layers now, what you have to do is to go to the sewing machine and fold all your edges, right? Fold all the edges. You see what this looks like now, you see? And then you're going to take this part, attach it to the body of your sleeve, and then you have these layers like this. You can try this even with a longer version of the sleeve. You can try it. Once you attach this to the body of the sleeve, this is what it will look like. You have different layers and length. So it depends on how long you want yours to be. You see, I have first layer, second layer, third layer, just like that. If I cut this one now, it will be the fourth layer. So that's basically one of the method of doing this one. And guys, the next thing I was trying to explain is you can do it on a pattern paper if you want to, right? So you take this slash paper that you've made now, you're going to replicate something that looks like this on your pattern paper. So you spread out your pattern paper. Instead of going directly on your fabric, this time you just want to do it on the fabric itself, right? So you lay it on this, on your, on the paper.